This is your news source evening bulletin for today, Friday, the 2nd day of May in the year 2025. I'm Gordon Mosley reporting, and here is what we're tracking tonight. Despite participating in the current process before the International Court of Justice and in response to the ICJ's ruling on Thursday, which ordered Venezuela to refrain from its planned elections for a governor of Guyana's Essequibo later this month, the Venezuelan government today rejected that ruling from the court. In a statement, Caracas called the provisional measures issued by the ICJ abusive and made clear that it will not abide by it. However, the government of Guyana is calling on Venezuela to respect the orders of the court. In a statement, Venezuela said that it reaffirms, true to its historical position, that it does not and will never recognize the International Court of Justice, nor will it abide by any decision emanating from that court to resolve the territorial dispute surrounding Guyana's Essequibo in a process that has been rigged from the beginning and manipulated by anti-Venezuelan corporate interests, the Venezuelan government said. Venezuela, which is fully participating in the ICJ process and has been arguing its case before the ICJ and which was bound by provisional measures, said that nothing in international law allows the International Court to intervene in matters that are in the exclusive domain of Venezuelan domestic law, nor seek to prohibit a sovereign act organized within its legal and political framework. The Venezuelan government says it demands once again that the government of Guyana stop delaying direct negotiations and strictly comply with the Geneva Agreement as the only valid path to definitive, peaceful, and mutually satisfactory solution for the territory of Essequibo. Venezuela said it will not bow to international pressure, judicial blackmail, or foreign court to turn away from its belief and conviction, and wants Guyana at the negotiation table to settle the matter. In response to that statement from Caracas, the government of Guyana today said it expects the government of Venezuela to act responsibly in complying with the court's orders of both the 1st of December 2023 and the 1st of May 2025, which are legally binding on both states, and in so complying, fully respect the sovereignty and territorial integrity of Guyana. The government has again rejected Venezuela's push for bilateral talks, pointing to the ongoing case at the International Court of Justice. The government of Guyana said it wishes to remind the government of Venezuela that it has no intention of entering into bilateral negotiations with Venezuela regarding Venezuela's claim of nullity of the 1899 arbitral award, and by extension its claim to almost two-thirds of Guyana's territory. The Guyana government added that the matter is pending before the International Court of Justice by decision of the United Nations Secretary General in accordance with the 1966 Geneva Agreement on the settlement of the controversy, an agreement to which both Guyana and Venezuela are parties. The government said the court's judgment will be definitive, final, and binding on both Guyana and Venezuela. More news coming up in just a moment.
It all starts with one. Maybe it's one look, you know the one, or one touch, even one word. It can start with one step, or one promise, one thrill, one first time, one deep breath, one leap of faith, one day to remember, or one night to forget. One moment, so many stories that make up one crazy, average, everyday, fabulous life. We get one life, just one. Make your move. It all starts with one.
Your own home is so much more than just four walls, floors, and ceilings. It's a lifetime of great memories and stories. Come talk to us and start your journey home today.
Republic Bank, we're the one for you.
The moment is coming. He has the ball. Will he make the shot? And he made it! Goal! This is the biggest win we've seen in ages. Feel the rush with every bet and win big. Play online at www.ibetgamesur.com.
With iBet Supreme, every game is your game. iBet to win with iBet Supreme.
Must be 18 years and older to bet.
Meet Mom. She's not just the wake up at the crack of dawn, make breakfast and pack bags kind of mom. She also gets her fitness game on. Yeah, she's the don't let anyone forget anything kind of mom. At the same time, she's the runs her own business, closing deals kind of mom, who finds time to get down and boogie with the kids after school, remodel the house, bake cake, host dinner, and even play her favorite game at the end of the day kind of mom. So let's celebrate Mom, because to us, she's so much more.
Drive home your brand new Honda vehicle today. When you buy a brand new vehicle, it's 0 miles, 0 worries. Plus, you get awesome features that will help make your ride smooth and comfortable. Migrants offers in-house financing on our Honda City and HRV with down payments of 25% and monthly payments for 3 or 5 years. Conditions apply. Visit our website or call us on 226-1482 to learn more. Buy your brand new Honda vehicle from Marix, the home of Honda in Guyana.
Welcome back. Well, the Alliance for Change is again raising concern over the number of Venezuelan migrants here in Guyana, suggesting today that the electoral process may also be compromised. The AFC concerns were heightened following this week's parliamentary sitting, where the Home Affairs Minister Robeson Ben could not immediately verify the figure he had given to the Parliament in relation to the number of Venezuelan migrants here in Guyana. Mr. Ben told the National Assembly that there are only 4 regions in Guyana that have a total of just over 15,000 Venezuelan migrants. But he later withdrew that figure after the opposition poked holes in his submission. The AFC became even more suspicious because a release from the government last year stated that well over 40,000 Venezuelans are here. And only late last year, the Foreign Affairs Minister reported that there are 600 Venezuelan migrants in Linden. But the Home Affairs Minister told the House on Monday that only regions 1, 2, 4, and 8 have Venezuelan migrants. At a press conference today, the chairman of the Alliance for Change, David Patterson, said while on the face of it, it seems as a mistake on the part of the minister, the exact information was recently featured at a symposium organized by the University of Guyana.
The AFC is deeply concerned that in an election year, where the vast majority of Guyanese has expressed concerns about the bloated GCOM electoral list, plus the rumors that thousands of Venezuelans, whether entitled or not, has been included on the GCOM list, that the agency tasked with monitoring and regulating this group cannot provide a factual account of the persons in the country.
Mr. Patterson, who pressed the Home Affairs Minister in Parliament last Monday, said it has become clear that the government has either lost control of the migrant situation or is clueless about what is happening. Either way, he said, the Elections Commission has a responsibility now to come clean amid concerns about a bloated voters list and the possibility of thousands of Venezuelans making it onto that list.
The AFC once again calls on GCOM to implement enhanced measures of voters' identification, including biometrics and cameras in the place of poll, to ensure that the general and regional elections of 2025 is free, fair, and acceptable.
Patterson said while the Alliance for Change acknowledges the circumstances that led the migrants here, the government's failure to properly document the migrants and provide updates to Guyanese cannot be brushed aside. Now to that story of little Adriana Young. Leader of the opposition Aubrey Norton has formally written the government requesting an international probe into the death of 11-year-old Adriana Young, even as his party, the People's National Congress, holds discussions with his coalition partners to devise a strategy to hold the authorities' feet to the fire to ensure that justice is served. Adriana Young was found dead in a pool at a Doubleday hotel last Thursday, one day after she went missing while visiting the hotel with her family. 3 international pathologists have said that she died by drowning, but several questions surrounding her death remain. At a press conference earlier today, Mr. Norton accused the Irfan Ali administration of employing delaying tactics to drag out the investigation and silence the demands for justice.
To date, the government has displayed no willingness and urgency to consent to the demands for 1. An independent criminal investigation into the events at the Doubleday Hotel by international experts, and 2, an international probe into the entire operations of the Guyana Police Force, including the use by the police of live rounds and deadly force during public protests. Instead, both President Ali and Vice President Jack Dale have been trying their utmost to divert attention and downplay the incident and engage in deception.
On Monday, President Irfan Ali told reporters that the pathologist ruled out forced drowning. But the family's attorney, Darren Way, said while drowning was given as the cause of death, the manner of death is still to be investigated, as he rejected the claim by the president. Vice President Barrett Jagdeo has said the circumstances surrounding the death of Adriana must be thoroughly investigated. And today the opposition leader said at the time when the nation is in grief, deeply affected by the death of the young girl, the government is still not doing enough to ensure justice is done in the matter.
The people will not relent in our demand for impartial, reputable international investigations into both the crime and the Guyana Police Force. The terms of references for the investigations must ensure thoroughness and truthfulness. Anything less will be an affront to the memory of Adriana and an insult to her parents, loved ones, and all Guyanese.
The opposition leader said there are many unanswered questions that only an independent probe may be able to address. The investigation, he said, must start soon to minimize the destruction, concealing, or contamination of evidence and the intimidating of witnesses. Norton warned that the trauma surrounding Adriana's death will not fade away. Her death, he said, has caught regional and international attention, with ongoing cries for justice.
GCOM is currently conducting a national registration exercise. Who can register? Anyone who will be 14 years or older by June 30, 2025 and is a Guyanese citizen by birth, descent, naturalization, or is a citizen from a Commonwealth country living in Guyana for 1 year or more. How to apply for registration? You must visit the GCOM registration office that is responsible for your area of residence to apply for registration or name change or correction. You must be in possession of the following source documents as might be relevant: original birth certificate or valid Guyana passport for new registration, original marriage certificate and original birth certificate in the case of a name change by marriage, original deed poll and original birth certificate in the case of a name change by deed poll, original naturalization certificate and original birth certificate or valid passport in the case of naturalization. This registration exercise will end on May 30, 2025. You need to apply for a transfer if you now live at another address since you were registered. For more information, contact the GCOM on 225-027729 or visit www.gcom.org.gy.
Your own home is so much more than just four walls, floors, and ceilings. It's a lifetime of great memories and stories. Come talk to us and start your journey home today.
Republic Bank. We're the one for you.
Need small appliance for your kitchen? Giftland have it. Need fridge or stove? Giftland have it. Speakers or laptop? Giftland have it. I'm telling you, Giftland have everything. And don't get me started on TVs. 58-inch, 65-inch, 70-inch, 75-inch. All sizes in leading brands. Best thing about it, they give in warranty. Man, Giftland is the place for all your electronics purchases.
Washi. Hi people, washing made so easy since I found Washi. Washing me use wash me clothes and I can say Washi soap powder wash clothes so nice. Washi soap powder leave your clothes color bright. Washi soap powder leave me clothes smelling nice, of course. So give thanks to Washi soap powder for doing my laundry right. Keep my clothes color bright, have me clothes smelling nice for sure. I could not ask for more. Comes in lemon and original. It is a washing machine in a pack. Washi soap powder wash clothes so nice. Washi soap powder leave your clothes color bright. Washi soap powder have my clothes smelling nice, of course.
Distributors located in the Starbrook Market.
Buster presenting the new 500 milliliter. Wow, Buster flavorful. Make every meal better. Grab a Buster for drink, Buster move. Taste this. 500 ml, that's it. Buster for days, that's cool. Buster 500 milliliter is a brand new choice of me drink with my food. Vibing every munch, that's smooth. Introducing the new Buster 500 milliliter. Grab a bottle with your lunch today.
Purple Arts Productions presents A Treat for My Mother 8, an evening of golden oldies with Bunny Alves, Sean Buller, Charmin Blackman, Ronald Green, Barbara Lee, Sharon Cadogan, Ian Nelson, Antoine Gonsalves, Michelle Gobin, and more dance group and others. Golden jewelry for the best dressed mother in purple on Mother's Day Sunday, May 11 at the National Cultural Center. Tickets $3,000 and $2,500. Directed by Simone Dowding.
The Guyana Police Force has reported that 2 policemen, a corporal and a constable, have been relieved of their duties for neglect over their handling of the early investigations into the report that was filed after 11-year-old Adriana Young went missing at a Doubleday hotel. She was later found dead in the hotel's pool the following day. In a statement on Thursday, the Guyana Police Force indicated that the commander, Khalil Mandal, remains on administrative leave as the investigations into the young girl's death continue. Additionally, the Guyana Police Force has stated that the owner of the Doubleday Hotel, who was in police custody, was released after the statutory detention period elapsed. He has been instructed by the investigators to report on a daily basis to the police until the outcome of the investigation. The hotel owner has been blacklisted from leaving the country, the police said. The police also said DNA samples obtained from the hotel owner and those of Adriana Young have been escorted by a forensic investigator for advanced testing and analysis in the U.S. at the Mount Sinai Health System. Meanwhile, the Guyana Police Force sought to offer an explanation of its initial report that a young girl was seen leaving the hotel when that turned out to be false. The police said a civilian staff member who it did not name was also sent on administrative leave, and that person is the person who was on duty at the command center on the day in question. And she has admitted to detectives that she entered the wrong date while checking the camera system located within the vicinity of the Doubleday Hotel. She had been tasked to ascertain whether or not Adriana Young had left the hotel. The police said as a consequence of her error, she misled the ranks by reporting that she observed a female who fitted the description of Adriana Young leaving the hotel with a male. Investigations have also revealed that there was a sergeant from the Special Constabulary Unit who misled her colleagues when she claimed that she was on duty in the region's operation room, and the male anonymous caller informed her that Adriana Young was seen leaving the hotel after she joined a black vehicle. According to the police, in an effort to investigate the origin of the information about that vehicle, investigators managed to obtain the call information and arrested the male anonymous caller, who turned out to be someone who is well acquainted with a special constabulary rank. He also informed detectives that he and the female spoke for 10 minutes, during which he told her that he was standing in front of the hotel when he overheard persons talking about the girl leaving in a black room. He related the information to the special sergeant. The call log, the police said, confirmed the duration of the phone call as related by the individual. All that information turned out to be inaccurate, and the Guyana police force stated that its initial statement on the missing girl was very inaccurate. With the nation still reeling from the tragic death of 11-year-old Adriana Young, yesterday's Labor Day rally saw one of its lowest turnouts ever, as most trade unions opted not to participate in the annual march. Amid a heavy downpour, the president of the Guyana Trades Union Congress, Norris Witter, and the General Secretary, Lincoln Lewis, led a small group of workers through the streets of Georgetown before culminating at the Cristo Labor College. Witter, in his address, said that he was pleased that despite all odds, the workers gathered, chose to march with the union, and continue the struggle for the rights of workers. He said while some unions did not see the need to participate in the Labor Day rally out of concern for their safety in light of the recent unrest, their leaders were lavishly dining at State House while the workers continued to suffer. Witter said it must be remembered that the labor movement was birthed out of a crisis, and in times of crisis, unions must respond. The tragic death of Adriana Young, he said, must serve as a catalyst for change.
I do believe that Adriana will be the catalyst for a great revolution. And Adriana will be the catalyst that will ensure that there will be new faces in high places. And I say to you, each and every one of you, speak her name! Speak her name! Adriana in every village, Adriana in every community, Adriana in every region, Adriana, Adriana.
The GTUC president said the state failed little Adriana by failing to protect her and deploying the necessary resources through the Guyana police force to locate her before it was too late. Declaring that he has no faith in the current regime, Mr. Witter said the Irfan Ali administration is an example of bad governance. He said in addition to poorly administering the affairs of the people, the government has violated the rights of workers and has shown clear disregard to the unions. Witter said for there to be good governance and respect for workers' rights in Guyana, there must be change.
I will wish to suggest to you that if we desire to have a state that will not only respect the rights of workers, but will subscribe to the tenet of good governance, then there must be a change of the status quo. There must be a change of the status quo. And what do I mean for those who don't understand? We need new faces in high places. New faces in high places.
With regional and general elections expected this year, Witter urged the workers to campaign countrywide for a change in government and governance. He said the time for action is now.
Because I believe that the time has come for us to speak less and to do more. It is a time for action. We cannot be talking and talking and talking. What we need to do is to organize, organize, organize.
And the General Secretary of the Guyana Trades Union Congress, Lincoln Lewis, said the time for inclusionary democracy as guaranteed by the Constitution is now. but that cannot be achieved with a government that consistently violates the fundamental rights of Guyanese, he said.
And we must confront and crush the barriers that hold us back. Pettiness, tribalism, division, and the poisonous games of political mischief. Even in difficult circumstances. Comrades, enough is enough. The people of Guyana deserves a nation that lives up to its highest ideal. The time for change is not coming. The time for change is here. The time is now.
Lewis also said the state must respect the rights of workers.
Change where no nurse, no teacher, public servant, sugar worker, or miner is treated as invisible or disposable. A change where collective bargaining is honored, not ignored. Where court rulings in favor of workers are enforced, not evaded. And where every citizen's labor is met with dignity, fair compensation, and protection under the law. Too often, comrades, workers have carried this nation on their backs only to be left behind. This must end. It must end now. A nation cannot rise if its workers are kept on its knees. The state must stop seeing workers as obstacles and start treating them as partners in progress.
The veteran trade unionist said in a healthy democracy, the minority is not an afterthought, but rather an active participant. He said in the absence of justice and respect for the fundamental human rights, there can be no real development taking place in Guyana. Business executive and rights activist Terence Campbell has said amid Guyana's rapidly growing economy, there is still immense poverty in Guyana, plaguing the working class. Campbell was among leaders who joined the Guyana Trades Union Congress at their May Day rally yesterday, despite heavy showers and the recent unrest that kept many unions away.
Today is a day when we celebrate workers and the working class. But in the abundance of riches in Guyana, there is immense poverty. And so I think today and in the days coming, we must focus on how we can reverse that situation.
And leader of the Alliance for Change, Nigel Hughes, said the working class must also reap the benefits of Guyana's rapidly growing economy.
Today, Labor Day, it's no longer the demand for better wages, better salaries, better allowances. The economic order in Guyana has changed. And so what we face today, especially for the working class, is not only better wages and salaries, but there must be a way in which they get a fair share of the bounty of this country.
Mr. Hughes said in addition to significantly improving the wages and salaries of workers and the conditions under which they work, there must also be improvements in healthcare and the delivery of education, among other important sectors that would drive growth and human development.
First of all, healthcare. The healthcare that must be afforded to all the people in Guyana, but particularly the working class, must be of the highest international standard because we can afford it. Kathy referred to education. It's not just an improvement in education. With the resources we have, we should be turning out the best qualified people starting in the region and then the best qualified people in Latin America. We have the resources. What we do not have is the leadership and the commitment to put the resources into changing the education system so that happens.
Meanwhile, General Secretary of the Guyana Trades Union Congress and APNU-AFC Member of Parliament, Coretta MacDonald, said for too long the rights of workers have been violated in Guyana.
We are here now presently working against an anti-workers government, an anti-working class government who cares nothing about the workers. And I can say this without fear of contradiction because you would remember the teachers of this country stood for 75 days on the streets because we were battling a government who ignored a proposal that we submitted 4 years. Year after year after year, we continued to submit that proposal, and they would have ignored that proposal.
And adding her voice to the issue, leader of the Assembly for Liberty and Prosperity, Simona Brooms, said the PPP government took office in 2020, and the rights of workers have been trampled upon ever since then.
There's been an increase in fatality, an increase in debt. And up to this minute, the minister have not done anything to address that labor relation, the safety of workers and the environment in where they work. I believe that all these things must and should be taken into consideration. You can't have people working out there and their lives are at risk.
And Indigenous leader Laura George told News Source that the rights of Indigenous Guyanese are also being violated, with many of them being provided with temporary work by the government without any secure for the future.
They talk about the 10-day workers. They talk about the 10-day workers. They talk about the CSOs, and they're giving them stipends. But what the PPP is doing is robbing Indigenous peoples of long-term security when it comes to their insurance, a guaranteed pay, because there is no law that provides for the 10-day workers and the CSOs who deserve to be paid and have the security guaranteed under the law.
She said that injustice must stop, as she called on Indigenous Guyanese and Guyanese in general to be au fait with the labor laws of the country and their rights as citizens.
Meet Mom. She's not just the wake up at the crack of dawn, make breakfast and pack bags kind of mom. She also gets her fitness game on. Yeah, she's the don't let anyone forget anything kind of mom. At the same time, she's the runs her own business, closing deals kind of mom, who finds time to get down and boogie with the kids after school, remodel the house, bake cake, host dinner, and even play her favorite game at the end of the day kind of mom. So let's celebrate Mom, because to us, she's so much more.
Mobil Delvac Heavy Duty Lubricants. With more than 90 years of experience and innovation, Mobil Delvac is a recognized leader in advanced heavy-duty lubricants. Discover how the state-of-the-art Mobil Delvac technology can help protect and extend the life of your diesel engines. Mobil Delvac, the trusted brand for many successful businesses. Protect your fleet and keep your vehicles on the road and out of the shop. Helped by Mobil Motor Oils. Distributed by Sol Guyana Inc.
A powerful movement is coming to shift Guyana, the Guyana we know as the breadbasket of the Caribbean. It's the land of many waters. It's the land of 6 races, all unified under God. Hope is rising, a call to prayer, a celebration of unity and peace and God's grace on all Guyana. Hope is Rising is returning after many years and will feature global sensation Sherwin Gardner and Emrand Henry, along with top Guyanese gospel artists and musicians.
These things they are making me stronger. I come to you with my arms wide open. If my pillow could speak, it would tell you how I will.
You're invited to Hope is Rising, a global 24-hour prayer culminating with an evening of worship and praise with Christian leaders standing together on May 9th at the National Cultural Center. All tickets are free and registration is required. Seats are limited, so book now. Christian leaders, gospel artists, churches, and people of Guyana from all regions. We urge you to come together to celebrate and pray to God for this great nation. Hope is rising, and God is pleased.
Okay, let's do this thing.
Guyana's economy is rapidly transforming, and we're all part of it. Guyoil is at the forefront of this development by providing reliable and efficient energy and supporting community development from the very core. 100% of Guyoil's profit goes back to building schools, roads, and other important infrastructure that connects our cities and towns, providing fuel to domestic, marine, industrial, and aerial transportation. Guyoil has now repositioned itself as a market leader in the petroleum industry, building a better future for all of us.
With your regional and international news tonight, I am Svetlana Marshall. In the region, hundreds of thousands of Cubans gathered in Havana's Revolution Square for the traditional May Day March on Thursday amid an economic crisis and as tensions ratcheted up with U.S. President Donald Trump's administration. Raul Castro, 93, dressed in a military uniform and referred to as the leader of the revolution, begun by his brother Fidel Castro in 1959, and President Miguel Diaz-Canel presided over the march. Diaz-Canel, in a message earlier this week, had called on residents to turn out despite the hard times in a show of unity in the face of increased U.S. pressure. The first Trump administration imposed new sanctions on the communist-run country on top of the decades-old trade embargo. The government says that action was the main cause of the current crisis, which has seen the economy shrink more than 15% over the last 5 years. Other national leaders fanned out across the country to similar events, where large numbers of residents braved blackouts, poor transportation, and a scarcity of basic goods to march. This celebration of Labor Day in Cuba is a new demonstration of the respect of the Cuban people for their revolution, the president of the Cuban Federation of Workers said as he opened the Havana event. U.S. Secretary of State Marco Rubio has promised to get tough with Cuba, his parents' homeland. Kamala Persad-Bissessar has been sworn in for a second time as Prime Minister of Trinidad and Tobago, promising a new era of compassion, fairness, decisive leadership, and love following a resounding electoral victory for the United National Congress, UNC. The swearing-in ceremony was held Thursday at the President's house in Port of Spain. Attorney General designate John Jeremy also took his oath of office. In her inaugural address, Prime Minister Persad-Bissessar spoke about a shift in national governance priorities, pledging to put the real people of Trinidad and Tobago at the forefront of a new 5-year term. She dedicated her return to public office to the forgotten people, those living in underserved and often overlooked communities beyond the capital. Persad-Bissessar warned her newly elected ministers that accountability will be non-negotiable. She cautioned against mistaking her physical appearance or kindness for weakness and vowed to uphold the values of integrity, transparency, and equity throughout her government. And finally tonight, international news. U.S. President Donald Trump's administration on Friday proposed a $163 billion cut to federal spending next year, which would eliminate more than a fifth of the non-military spending, excluding mandatory benefit programs. The proposed budget would raise defense spending by 13% and homeland security spending by nearly 65% from 2025 enacted levels. Non-defense discretionary spending would be cut by 23% to the lowest level since 2017, the White House Office of Management and Budget said in a statement. The so-called skinny budget is an outline of administration priorities that will give Republican appropriators in Congress a blueprint to begin crafting spending bills. As Trump's first budget since reclaiming office, it sets out to make good on his promises to boost spending on the armed forces and border security. And that's your News Source Evening Bulletin for tonight. I'm Svetlana Marshall, wishing you an enjoyable weekend.